So when I talk about intervallic, it's anything that is not the next scale step, right? So that's not really intervallic because you're just going to the next pitch in the scale. But if I start doing some jumps around, meaning right? Now everybody knows pattern 4 in the cage system, which is now if I go descending, you're just going to the next note in the scale. Now if let's say playing the 2 notes in the pentatonic and skipping a string and play the next 2 notes and then go to the string below, then I can do the same thing ascending. Now one that I like a lot is this one. Basically, and I'm using hybrid picking for this, so I'm using the middle finger to grab the high notes. Let me play the song I did before. I just do those skips. There's another very famous sequence that you can use. It's also pretty angular, and it's what normally is in the minor scale diatonic thirds. Which is somewhat intervallic, right? You're just doing third sequence. Now if I do that with the pentatonic though, it's a little more interesting because I'm leaving certain notes out. So the best way to do that is you start grabbing the adjacent strings it's a classic pentatonic sequence. Now, if let's say you combine that with the skips, so a couple of things I was doing there. So the first finger is doing a lot of work because it has to roll back. So that takes a while to get used to at first. See, I can even do that jump, which is kind of tricky in the beginning. The one thing you don't want to do is lift your finger and do that traverse to the other string because you create noise. So the one thing you want to do is pretty much hover over the strings and touching them. I wouldn't bar. Don't bar. Because then you create a double stop. It's like, no. Let's look at this option. So I can take the B minor, which I have here. And there I have 3 pentatonic notes on one string, right? So then I'm going to skip the A string and then grab A, B, and D. All right, and then I can jump over the G string and grab F sharp, A, and B. Now the cool thing I can do with this, I can create some sequences. I can go imagination that you have that's the limit. You can really now this shape is perfectly movable to B minor up here. And it's higher, it sounds cooler. Let's see what that sounds like. Now another thing you can do and add a little sequence to this, which is ascending. So I'll just do a descending run but ascending with the notes. Here's a very nice sequence you can create with these 3-note per string shapes. Remember that when you do 3-note per string on pentatonics, you get a repeating note, right? So some people play this type of stuff. See, I got that repeating note here, which doesn't really help the sequence. So one thing that I want to do is I'm going to create a group of 4. So what normally would have been like this, now I'm going to do it 3-note per string, and then on the next string I only do 2 notes. Right? You go. Now I'm using partial picking, so I'm not picking every note. Now I move that to the next set, which is here. Here you don't bar, you just use these 2 fingers. Then do the same thing here. And the same thing here.